to episode 29 of What If History Restarted. Last time, there's some stuff happening in Scandinavia and some in China. Speaking of China, that's where we're going to start again. So if you look at the religion map, you can see that the main Chinese religion encompasses all of Korea and, well, other than the colonies, but it encompasses all of Korea and Squidward China. But there's also some spillover into Baikal. And so because tensions have been rising between these two by a lot, Baikal is going to start publicly executing the people of this religion here, because just to send the message to little old Squidward China. And it's going to get to a point where you can actually see the population of this start to decrease. This is Baikal's territory, so it's probably going to slowly start to look like this. Just all over, they start killing all these guys, probably throwing over their bodies and stuff. It's pretty brutal, and eventually it's all wiped out from here. So basically they publicly did a genocide of these people just to show how much they hate these people, this country. So, yeah, they did leave out what China claims just because they didn't want to actually start a war, but still. China, reasonably now hates them. They literally just genocided their people. But finally, this has been in the process for a long time, but finally we see that Baikal is going to join the Upside Down Triangle Alliance, as it becomes probably their strongest member. Yeah. So, because of that, we're going to see that the entire Triangle Alliance, which is just this one Philippine island, I guess Malaysia, Bangladesh, South India, and then these two dudes, they're pretty terrified now, because Baikal is very strong. Probably the strongest Chinese country, and the Upside Down Triangle Alliance was already stronger, so that's really making it look bad for them. So just because of that, hold on. Okay, just because of that, we see that these guys are going to go trying to ask these other countries to join. Now this one literally only got created because these people wanted to be neutral, so obviously that's not going to work out. This trade route country, though, is pretty terrified, so, they're going to join it. Baikal otherwise could kind of just eat them up at any time. But that one doesn't really even matter. The only one that really matters is that they actually managed to get little old Indus on this. This Indus Empire has grown a lot recently, and it's very powerful. It's probably about the same strength as Baikal, so things are a little bit more evened out now. Although the Upside Down Triangle Alliance still might have a tiny advantage, but not by that much anymore. Anyway, moving over here, we're going to see that this Russian country is actually going to go to war with Finland, or St. Petersburg. They're more just Finland now, so I'm just going to call them Finland. So, yeah. These two countries just don't have good relations. If we look at the religion map, we can see that Finland is mainly the blue team ethnicity, but they still have a decent amount of this guy's population. So, this guy wants them back, and St. Petersburg says that they get to keep them because that's their land. But anyway, tensions boil over into a war, and obviously St. Petersburg is much stronger. So, there's really not that much they can do. So, and Golden Horde is actually going to see this as a great opportunity to hopefully improve relations with Finland, who they have been getting decent relations with. So they're going to help them out, even though they don't really need help, but they're still going to do it. So they start pushing up here a lot, and the capital is taken. And I mean, yeah, they just continue to roll through this mostly empty land. And soon enough, the country collapses. And then in the peace treaty, it's going to be getting fully annexed. The new border will be right about here. So, yeah. As you can see, St. Petersburg now has a ton of land in Russia. And Golden Horde is even larger. So we can also just do this. And yeah, now these guys are actually getting decent relations now. And in fact, Blue Team is also kind of in on this because, you know, same ethnicity for them in St. Petersburg / Finland. If we can select the right layer. They also do have a decent amount of their ethnicity over in Baikal, in Golden Horde. So because of that, we're actually going to see another new alliance be made, which will be, there's no Circle Alliance right now, so this will be the Circle Alliance. Currently, it's just these three. Well, I mean, when it's formed, it's just these three, but they are pretty quickly able to get some other countries in on this, including Persia, this guy, even Egypt, as well as this one. So yeah, that Circle Alliance is now here, and it's pretty powerful. Now we're going to move down to Africa. This Saharan country right here is very weak, but it's been expanding, and they're also very expansionist. I just said that they've been expanding, but, you know, they're also very war-loving. So they're going to go to war with Libya, which is probably stupid because Libya is definitely a lot stronger than them. And I mean, yeah, Libya encircles this, but these troops actually managed to get all the way to the capital. They are pretty good fighters. They're kind of like Sparta in our timeline. You know, they train their soldiers very hard. So eventually, these guys actually start like collapsing the entire government. And kind of the government just like falls apart. So if we also just pause again, peace treaty. See, I should probably do the peace treaty when I pause now, right? That's what most people do, so I'm probably gonna start doing it. But anyway, full annexation. They also moved their capital up to Libya's because that was definitely the better city. This is in the middle of the desert. So yeah, these guys are also going to expand more into empty desert because hooray. Moving over down here to these formerly Golden Coast countries. This green one right here, this green one right here is an interesting plan. So I don't actually know what their religion is looking like here. Okay, so they're all pretty much this one. So what the green team does is it just, okay, well, first of all, it just expands and takes all of this land. And now to manage that, they actually sell off this coastal area to this country. So now they're landlocked, but they also have a lot of the, I don't know how you pronounce it, it's like Sahel, Sahel, something along those lines. So yeah, now they've become this sort of Sahel nation. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, I'm sorry. And they're actually going to expand a lot upwards as well. This country has a revolution, and it splits into 2 new countries. So that's great. But this new one is going to go ahead and also expand by a lot. The revolution was just because these guys wanted to expand, these guys didn't. So these guys can now live out their dreams and get pretty big. African Union is kind of falling apart. They're very powerful in terms of like the other African countries, but like they're significantly less technologically advanced than the European and even like the Chinese countries, plus like the ones that I'm looking at right now. So if they, like, for example, they could probably beat, like, let me get a thicker brush, probably beat all the nations I have just circled at once. That's how strong they are compared to Africa. But I think they're probably around the same strength as, like, this country. Like, the Africans are a lot less technologically developed. Just like in our timeline. Like, Europe kind of became the colonizers, obviously, so that's also the direction that this is heading towards. Sea exploration. I just want to make this look nicer because it's way too weird looking right now. So, yep. They've pretty much given up on going further this way because they currently just think that there's just an endless ocean now, because obviously this is a very large distance. So they probably think that the world is just an ocean past Iceland, with like a couple islands scattered. Although they probably think this one might be like over here. They're not very smart. I haven't done anything in the Americas for a while, but that's because it's actually just been pretty peaceful here. We are going to see some other ethnicities here kind of finally develop into full-on civilizations, starting with this Great Lakes one. They pop in right around here. So we can do that. And then this. I don't know why it looks so weird. Let me fix that. Somewhat fixed. Yep, there we go. Now we just need this. I assume they probably would just extend all the way around the Great Lakes though, so. I keep accidentally doing text. Boom. Very tight squeeze here. Whoa. Sklooshy. Yep, so now we have this Great Lakes tribal nation who's pretty strong. They're also very peaceful. And even if they weren't, they're still pretty far away, so it doesn't really matter. The capital is just going to be right up here, northern Michigan. And the next one, we're going to go down here. And we're going to see this northern South American thing also develop into a civilization. I believe that there was a country here, like long ago, like around here, but that one has long since fallen. There are some collapsed civilizations in this world, which is pretty cool. But anyway, these guys are just going to be up here in like Venezuela, spilling into Colombia a little bit. And I think there's actually maybe a remnant of the old one right here. This is not the same thing, so we'll make the color a little bit more saturated. As you can see, they do also have some islands discovered, because they are more seafaring, if that's the right word. I don't know what happened to the color. Hold on. So, like I said, this was the old color of the old civilization here. Now we're going to make it slightly more vibrant, because this is a different civilization. And yeah, they're just very coastal. They like the ocean. Capital's right over here, and like I've said 50 times, they like the ocean, so they obviously are going to have a lot of it explored. Probably a slightly surprising amount for this time. So yes, I even found Puerto Rico. See, there are now some slightly bigger pockets of discovery. They've gone pretty close to discovering the Americas. Obviously, over here in Hawaii was probably the closest. Like if the Chinese had just went a little bit further, then they would have landed in Mexico. But exploring the oceans is far from a priority right now, so that's not going to happen for a while. And over here, I mean, they're right next to Greenland, so if you want to count that as finding the New World, then they're pretty close to that. But I feel like that shouldn't count because, like, I think they also found Greenland a lot earlier in our world than they did the Americas. So then the closest they got was probably, surprisingly, down here, the Africans. I'm assuming it was probably led by this country, because that country is the same ethnicity as Gibraltar, so they're probably slightly more technologically advanced than the other Gold Coast countries. I don't even know if they are Gold Coast. But anyway, yeah, this was very close to Brazil. They just got unlucky. Maybe there's like folklore of like the far south nation, so then they do this and they find nothing. Except they actually do. They land in Antarctica, but not really. Anyway, let's do a daily Holy Omani Empire update. Boom. Yep, there's another one. Hooray. This is before and after. So, as you can see, a lot changed, but I'd say overall it got slightly more unified. Maybe. So, we're slowly making our way there to Omani unification. And honestly, I think that's going to be the end of this video. So, goodbye.